Hello there, this is Heirs to the Kingdom channel. In today's lesson, we're doing chapters 19 and 20 in the book of Judges. If you're new to this, it's a Bible study channel going through the KJV Bible, not skipping anything as scriptures command. So if you would like, subscribe, and share this content, let's get started. So in the book of Judges, we have the story of Samson. We finished that, and here's a part about Micah, who has asked a Levite to be his personal priest while he had false idols and, stuff of that nature, because they don't know all of the word. They're just knowing part of the word right now. And so the Danites, the tribe of Dan, came and took the priest, the Levite, that was being his priest, and his graven images, molten images, and stuff of that nature, and took them away. And Micah tried to stop them and said, "What are you going to do? We're more than you." So he couldn't stop them, and that's where we've left off at. So let's continue on into this lesson. Like I said, the Danites were going to an area and defeated the people there because they had no one to help them. They had no military, they had no magistrate. Magistrate's kind of like a police officer, protective force, a law enforcement system. They didn't have anything like that. And so the tribe of Dan, with what they had, came and took the area away from them. And that's just kind of how things were then. So anyways, let's continue on here. Chapter 19, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days, when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him, and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. Now, concubine is a woman that a man takes in as wife without completely being wife. How's this possible? It's like, normally, I guess, the father doesn't give her away. They don't take the vow of marriage, but he takes the responsibility of, caring for her and everything, providing. Sad to say, we got modern women. Most modern women are like this today. They play the part of whore, pretending to be a wife, and just to mess up the man's life. And that's why marriage rates are in the toilet now. People aren't having families and stuff anymore because of stuff like this. But anyways, mostly scripture says if a man takes a woman's virginity, he is her husband. So another part of this about being a concubine means that, she wasn't a virgin, no marriage vows or this, that, and the other. Anyways, verse 3. And her husband arose and went away after her to speak friendly unto her, and to bring her again, having his servant with him, and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. So here it says husband. So to take a concubine, I'm thinking that's what that really means. Because everything I looked up says a woman that's with the man but not fully a wife. But here it says husband went to go get her. And so it's telling me it's a woman he takes to wife, but he didn't take her virginity. That's what it seems like it's meaning here because of the words being used. And what I've learned about concubine, she's already been with someone else. But verse 4. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did eat and drink and lodge there. And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart. And the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law, Comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go your way. And they sat down and did eat and drink, both of them together. For the damsel's father had said unto the man, Be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thine heart be merry. And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him, therefore he lodged there again. And he arose early in the morning on the 5th day to depart, and the damsel's father said, Comfort thine heart, I pray thee. And they tarried until afternoon, and they did eat, both of them. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him, Behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you, tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry. And tomorrow get you early on your way, that ye mayest go home. So let's see what this is all about, of someone wanting them to stay all these many days. Verse 10, But the man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and departed, and came over against Jebus, which is Jerusalem. And there were with him 2 asses saddled. His concubine also was with him. And when they were by Jebus, the day was far spent, and the servant said unto his master, Come, I pray thee, and let us turn in into the city of the Jebusites, and lodge in it. And his master said unto him, We will not turn aside hither into the city of the stranger, that is not of the children of Israel. He will pass over to Gibeah. We will pass over to Gibeah. And he said unto his servant, Come, and let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night in Gibeah or in Ramah. Now we're going back to the other part where it says the husband went, because she went went whoring and went to her father's house. It never said she got with another man. It just means the whoring part is a woman not being obedient to her husband. That's how a woman can also be a whore. Not just sexual, but also serving the world and not being obedient to her husband. So we know from Scripture that, when Scripture says a whoring for the world, means something you're chasing other than the master you should be chasing. Verse 14. And they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them when they were in Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. And they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat down in a street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim. And he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, Whither goest thou? And whence comest thou? And he said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I, and I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the Lord, and there is no man that receiveth me to house. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for thy handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servants. There is no want of anything. And the old man said, Peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me, only lodge not in the street. So he brought him into his house and gave provender unto the asses. As we would use the word, provisions, and they washed their feet and did eat and drink. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. So here's Sodom and Gomorrah stuff. So they're clearly in the wrong area. They think they're in a safe area, and they're not. And this is what happens when the Lord is not leading your entire society. When you go to other places, you don't know what type of people you may come up to. They may be from the same, people of you in the history, but that does not make them somebody you want to be around. Let's continue on here, 23. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them. Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. So this is also sounding like, the Lot, the nephew of Abraham, when the angels came to his house to tell him to leave, to get out of there, because the cities were going to be destroyed. But let's continue on here. 24. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Then will I bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you, but unto this man do not so vile a thing. But the man would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them. Got lost there. And they knew her and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the drawing of the day, and fell down at the door of the man's house where her lord was, till it was light. And her lord rose up in the morning, and opened the doors of the house, and went out to give his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. And he said to her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then the man took her up upon an ass, and the man rose up and gat him unto his place. Some people say, why is he so cold-hearted about this? And, this man just pretty much raped her all night long. And well, the thing is, if she wouldn't have been disobedient and going to her father's house, none of this stuff would have happened to begin with. So everyone forgets about what causes the problem versus the problem that now is. They always just want to focus on the problem that now is, not what caused it. Like people that, I'm an old mechanic and stuff, so my engine's falling apart, it's a piece of junk. Did you ever change the oil? Did you ever maintain it? Did you ever service anything? No. It's like, well, I did it a couple of times. And it's like, well, that's not maintaining it properly. So, now you got a huge problem because you didn't do the things right to begin with. This is the same scenario here. Because it didn't take the man's daughter, it took the man's concubine. And so, but let's continue on here, 29. And when he was coming to his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine, and divided her together with her bones into 12 pieces, and sent her into all the coast of Israel. And it was so that all that saw it said, there was no such deed done nor seen all the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds. So pretty much, she died from everything that happened. I didn't say he killed her here. Pretty much she laid dead at the floor, at the threshing. She didn't make it inside. The abuse that she received. Now, they're supposed to tell people, mind your P's and Q's and don't go places you don't belong. They were traveling. They didn't really know where to go. They needed a place to stay. The old man tried helping them out, but other people took notice that they were there, and these people were vile people, just like Sodom and Gomorrah was. So, that's the lesson you primarily get from this. But anyways, continue on chapter 20. Then all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man from Dan even to Beersheba, with the land of Gilead, unto the Lord in Mizpah. And the chief of all the people, even of all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew sword. Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpah. Then said the children of Israel, Tell us how was this wickedness? And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah that belongeth to Benjamin, I and my concubine, to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose against me, and beset the house round about upon me by night, and thought to have slain me, and my concubine have they forced that she is dead. And I took my concubine and cut her in pieces and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. Behold, ye are all children of Israel. Give here your advice and counsel. And all the people arose as one man, saying, We will not any of us go to his tent, neither will any of us turn into his house. But now this shall be the thing which we will do to Gibeah. We will go up by lot against it. And we will take 10 men of 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of 1,000, and 1,000 of 10,000, to fetch victual for the people, that they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, What wickedness is this that is done among you? Now therefore deliver us the men, the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and put away evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities and to Gibeah, to go out to battle against the children of Israel. So here it is, the people of Benjamin are going to protect the vile men. Because that pretty much kind of tells you that, well, we're all kind of that way. That means you have to put us all to death in a sense. That's what I'm getting from that anyways, about 15. And the children of Benjamin were numbered at that time out of the cities 26,000 men that drew sword, beside the inhabitants of Gibeah, which were numbered 700 chosen men. Among all this people there were 700 chosen men left-handed. Every one could sling stones at an hairbreadth and not miss. And the men of Israel beside Benjamin were numbered 400,000 men that drew sword. All these were men of war. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God, and said, Which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. So here it is, the Lord speaking to the judge at the time. I don't know who the judge of the time is. We haven't been given a name about this yet, about who's actually the judge of the time. But anyways, so God's in accordance about, Israelites against Israelites here. He's done this before. Get wickedness out of your country. At all costs, you keep your country pure. And that's what they're looking at doing here. Let's continue on here, 19. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. Did I read that already? I don't think so. Anyways, 20. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin, and the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. And the people, the men of Israel, encouraged themselves and set their battle again in array in the place where they put themselves in array the first day. And the children of Israel went up and went before the Lord until even, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, Go up against him. And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All these drew the sword. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came out of the house of God and wept, and sat there before the Lord, and fasted that day until even, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, Shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother, or shall I cease? And the Lord said, Go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thine hand. And Israel set liers in wait round about Gibeah. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah, as at other times. And the children of Benjamin went out against the people, and were drawn away from the city, and they began to smite the people, and kill, as at other times, in the highways, of which one goeth up to the house of God, and the other to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said, They are smitten down before us, as at the first. But the children of Israel said, Let us flee, and draw them from the city into the highways. And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place, and put themselves in array at Baal Tamar. And the liers in wait of Israel came forth out of their places, even out of the meadows of Gibeah. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and the battle was sore, but they knew not that evil was near them. And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed the Benjamites that day, 25,000, and 100 men. All these drew the sword. So the children of Benjamin saw that they were smitten, for the men of Israel gave place to the Benjamites, because they trusted unto the liers in wait which they had set beside Gibeah. And the liers in wait hasted and rushed upon Gibeah, and the liers in wait drew themselves along, and smote all the city with the edge of the sword. Now there was an appointed sign between the men of Israel and the liers in wait, that they should make a great flame with smoke rise up. So let me read out. They should make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city. And when the men of Israel retired in the battle, Benjamin began to smite and kill of the men of Israel about 30 persons, for they said, Surely they are smitten down before us, as in the first battle. But then the flame began to rise up out of the city with a pillar of smoke. The Benjamites looked behind them, and behold, the flame of the city ascended up to heaven. And when the men of Israel turned again, the men of Benjamin were amazed, for they saw that evil was come upon them. Therefore they turned their backs before the men of Israel unto the way of the wilderness, but the battle overtook them, and them which came out of the cities they destroyed in the midst of them. Thus they enclosed the Benjamites round about, and chased them, and trod them down with ease over against Gibeah toward the sun rising. And there fell of Benjamin 18,000 men, all these were men of valor. And they turned and fled toward the wilderness unto the rock of Rimmon, and they gleaned of them in the highways 5,000 men, and pursued hard after them unto Gidom, and slew 2,000 men of them. So that all which fell that day of Benjamin were 25,000 men that drew the sword. All these were men of valor. But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness unto the rock Rimmon, and abode in the rock Rimmon 4 months. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin, and smote them with the edge of the sword, as well the men of every city as the beast, and all that came to hand. Also they set on fire all the cities that they came to. That's the end of this lesson today. Yeah. What do we learn from this? Well, the Benjamites decided to protect evil. What does that mean? That means you're guilty of the evil. The scriptures teach you're guilty of every sin you do, support, and help create. If you defend it, you support it. That makes you guilty of it. So even if they weren't the ones that actually abused the woman till she died and wanted to do the same thing to the man because they were just vile, wicked people wanting to live an abomination life, these people were known to exist in the city, and it was never told. They didn't send out letters to other things say, hey, we have these type of wicked men in this area. I can't defeat them by myself. Come help. They didn't do anything like that. They kept their mouths shut. They didn't shine light on the evil that was already there. The old man knew that it was there. And he tried to protect people from it. But what he should have did is warned them, says, hey, get out of here quickly. The men here will want to blah, 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 you and your servant and whatever else. They didn't travel at nighttime because they didn't have lights. The beasts of the world were out hunting at night, wolves and bears and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, all this stuff existed then. They had no defense from it. So that's why cities were important then. Now cities are bad because they're full of these vile people. That's why people seek refuge outside. We're trying to shine the light on the evil in the cities, but the people in the cities don't care. And the magistrates and law enforcement of the cities don't seem to care either, for the most part. They're not really doing much about it. Not vicious enough, I would say, but here's God supported them. Now, why didn't God help them defeat them at the first time so they didn't take any losses? Is because the people still had graven images. They'd come to the Lord for advice, but they still weren't serving the Lord wholeheartedly. So they must suffer as well because they were sinning against God also. But, people that are doing wrong don't always know they're doing wrong because they don't read all the Word of God to know what they're doing wrong. The other people knew that they were doing lewd things. Now, so there's many things that could have prevented this, but the primary thing was the woman being disobedient. And then the father-in-law keeping him there for 6 days. He should have came there, because the woman clearly got there on her own. So evidently you could travel, 1 day there, or she found safety and place to stay at. And nonetheless, or he got there to that place. There's clearly safe places and stuff to be at in that travel when he went to go get his wife, his concubine. But yeah, if she didn't go a whoring after whatever, the world, or being disobedient, it would have never happened as well. So if you sin and something bad happens to you, yeah, that bad is still a sin, but you sinned also. If you want to be away from stuff like this, you need to stay away from stuff like this. So multiple things come into play here about what happened, but God wanted the evil destroyed, even if it meant destroying Benjamites in the process. And of course, Benjamites are from the tribe of Benjamin, the brother of Joseph. Anyways, we've already went over all that stuff about the 12 tribes. But yeah, if you keep your land under the Lord to begin with, you don't have these problems ever show up. And that's the other main lesson from this. You got to keep your land true. You got to be involved with what's going around and making sure you're with like-minded. Yeah, there's many lessons in this one story. So the lewd men in that city, I can't remember the name of it now, Bilbil, or Bailil, or whatever the heck it is, that they stayed at that night in the land of Benjamin. Yeah, they did very wrong. But the woman caused all this too, by being disobedient. Most women today would only sit there and say, oh, those men did her so wrong, they're so evil. I'm like, yeah, but she caused it. Oh, that's beside the point. Women shouldn't have to be locked down by their man. Or I said, feminism's just, this woman was following feminism in their time. I'm going to do what I want to do. And the man went chasing after her. In modern days, what's going to happen today, if she runs off, he's just going to write her off and go file for divorcement and go on with his life. Just assume she went and got with some other guy, committed adultery. Bye. See ya. I don't know why men chase after women. I probably did it in my younger days like an idiot too. But nonetheless, there's many things that went wrong here, but the primary thing was those men were allowed to exist to begin with and not dealt with beforehand, making the area safe to travel. And maybe God says, well, if the woman's going to disobey, I'm going to use her to shine light on these evil people over here so I can get rid of them. She did evil. She deserves to die. Those men did evil. They deserve to die. But all in the land, they're not following correctly, so they need to be a little punished too. So they knew the ark of the Lord. They knew of the Lord. They knew to speak to the Lord. They knew to pray to the Lord. But they still didn't follow completely the Lord. And of course, we'll go back to the original part of the lessons. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. One sin that you allow in your life means your whole life is full of sin. That's just the way it is. That's how God sees things. Wow, I talked a lot in this area about this lesson. Anyways, that's the end of this lesson. Remember to pray. Pray for yourself, others, lost, found, all people, all nations, everywhere, everything. We got a lot of people thinking they're living a good Christian life, and they're not. Why? Because they don't read Scripture. That's why you got to share this. You got to speak about this. You got to share the gospel. If they want to hear it, let them hear it. If they don't, okay, you move on. Try to save people that want to be saved. You can't save those who don't want to be saved. And don't forget to give God all the praise, glory, and worship and thanks in everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. The next lesson is going to be a short one. It's the last chapter, 21 of Judges. So I think there's only 25 verses. So the next one will be quite short. But until then, God bless, good day, and goodbye.